You rise, only to fall.
Our planet has survived the billions of years of catastrophic events that made it the world we live on now. But one day, there will be an event so disastrous that it will destroy this floating rock and end the experiment known as humanity. And from the lengthy number of possibilities, we've narrowed our list to the top 10 events that will end the world. Number 10. Unknown risks. It wasn't that long ago that climate change and nuclear warfare were largely unheard of. Today, they're risks we've already seen the devastating effects of, and that we worry could get much worse. Because of this, there's a possibility that we haven't even conceived of what is most likely to kill us. Number 9. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI, is progressing rapidly. Surveyed scientists estimate, on average, that there is a 50% chance of AI being able to perform most tasks better than humans by 2050, with at least a 5% chance of surpassing human intelligence a couple of years after that. There's a common misconception that the risk of AI is that it will become malevolent. The bigger concern is that it will become too good at its job. The implications become much more frightening when you consider AI weapons in the hands of the wrong person, or an AI arms race leading to an AI war. Number 8. Solar geoengineering. There's a dramatic option for stopping, or even reversing, rising global temperatures, but it comes with significant possible risk. Solar geoengineering would reflect light and heat away from Earth and back into space by injecting aerosols into the stratosphere, the second layer of Earth's atmosphere. For now, it only exists in computer models. Solar geoengineering is one of two emerging technologies that could manipulate the atmosphere and reduce climate risk. If solar geoengineering were deployed, it would affect the entire atmosphere and be humanity's largest ever global endeavor. While it is the only known technique that could stop rising temperatures, there's still a lot we don't know, including whether it could destabilize local and global climate or ecosystems. Number 7. Supervolcanic eruption. A supervolcanic explosion 74,000 years ago ejected so much debris into the atmosphere that scientists believe it caused the Earth to cool by several degrees Celsius. Some experts believe this caused the greatest mass plant and animal extinction in human history, bringing the species to the brink of extinction. How likely is that to happen today? It's hard to say since we don't have much to compare it to, but data suggests a supervolcanic eruption occurs on average every 17,000 years. If that's true, then we're overdue. The last one we know of was 26,500 years ago in New Zealand. We don't have a way to anticipate eruptions more than a few weeks or months in advance, and we don't really have any way to reduce the likelihood of eruption right now, but scientists are monitoring several areas of risk. Number 6. Asteroid impact. Asteroids are rocks that revolve around the Sun and that occasionally collide with the Earth. An asteroid large enough to cause a global catastrophe hits Earth every 120,000 years, scientists estimate. It's likely what killed the dinosaurs, and if an asteroid even 1/10 the size of the one that caused their extinction hit Earth today, the results would be devastating. Scientists estimate it could release enough particles to block the Sun for months and cause a famine killing hundreds of millions. NASA announced in 2011 that it had mapped more than 90% of objects in space larger than 1 kilometer in diameter, and that none of them are likely to hit Earth. Number 5. Pandemics. Twice in modern history, plagues have swept across the world, killing an estimated 15% of the population in a few decades. They occurred way back in the 5th and 14th centuries, respectively, but there is a serious risk that a new infectious disease could cause another outbreak, especially with today's urban and mobile global population. Luckily, deadly diseases with the capacity to spread globally are rare. But they do happen. A century ago, the Spanish flu killed more than 50 million people. Outbreaks of SARS and Ebola in recent years also ring alarm bells. Antibiotics, our greatest defense against disease, are becoming less effective as some strains of bacteria become resistant to them. Number 4. Ecological collapse. Ecosystems are the delicate community of living organisms, like humans and animals, interacting with their non-living environment, like air and water. Ecosystems can recover from a certain amount of impact from humans, like temperature increases or habitat loss, but there's a tipping point at which they can't, and according to the report, we might be reaching that tipping point. Lake Chad in West Africa is an example of ecological collapse. 60 years of drought, overuse of water, and the impacts of climate change have reduced the lake by 90%. Its massive reduction has adversely affected the livelihoods of more than 40 million people in Chad, Nigeria, Niger, and Cameroon that depend on it. Number 3. Catastrophic climate change. Projections of the effects of climate change vary depending on how much the Earth warms. None of the scenarios look good. At best, we're looking at more frequent and severe tropical cyclones. Mid-range predictions include the loss of the majority of global agricultural land and freshwater sources, with major coastal cities like New York and Mumbai ending up underwater. At worst, human civilization would come to an end. Even if current global commitments to reduce carbon emissions are kept, there is a 1/3 chance of the Earth's temperature increasing by 3 degrees Celsius, which would cause most of Florida and Bangladesh to drown. Number 2. Biological and chemical warfare. Unlike nuclear weapons, which require complex engineering, biological and chemical warfare can be developed at a relatively low cost and with relatively attainable materials. In the past few years, the Syrian government has used chemical weapons in the civil war that has ravaged the country. Biological weapons represent a greater catastrophic threat. Advances in synthetic biology have made very real the possibility of malicious actors creating harmful pathogens for weaponization, or innocent researchers accidentally releasing a lethal infectious bug out into the world. In the event of a fast-moving pandemic, the world would be pretty vulnerable. Number 1. Nuclear war. A nuclear detonation from one of today's more powerful weapons would cause a fatality rate of 80 to 95% in the blast zone, stretching out to a radius of 4 kilometers. Although, severe damage could reach 6 times as far. But it isn't just the immediate deaths we need to worry about, it's the nuclear winter. Humans wouldn't be able to grow food. Chaos and violence would ensue. A big worry here is the arsenal of nukes. The United States and Russia have just under 7,000 warheads each, the largest collections in the world. The UK, China, Pakistan, India, North Korea, France, and Israel all have nuclear weapons. Hundreds of nuclear weapons are ready to be released within minutes. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and press that like button. Also, hit the bell icon, so you can never miss new updates from us. Stay safe, and we will meet you in the next one.